Okie dokie.
People always ask me why I collect video games. Okay. The question they should be asking is why not collect video games? Gamer Wayne. I'm a game collector. I have tons of games.
How many?
Cause when it comes to games, Gamer Wayne don't play. I collect anything old school to PS4. I'd visit other countries fresh back from Singapore. Looking for a score, I just need more. Pretty soon my house will be filled door to door. When I'm chasing games, I'm like a kid in a candy store. But every time I leave, my wallet ain't fat no more. I really can't help that the prices don't faze me. You paid how much for that? Man, this guy is crazy. It's like Pokemon, you gotta catch them all. I even made a list. I'll speed it up cause it's long. PC Engine, Neo Geo 64, PS1, PS2, Super NES is cool. Mega Drive, Sega Saturn, NES, you play with power. 3DS, PSP, Nintendo Switch, Wii, Xbox 360, PS3, GameCube, PS4, VR, GPC, and Wii U, Dreamcast, Famicom, this system owners wanna collect Atari too. I told you this list was long.
Mamma mia.
It doesn't stop with American. I collect Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and Asian. And don't worry, pal, I've got you, dude.
How?
My game collection has European in it too. You think I have problems, but it's my collection that's sick. Buying and selling, man, you know that's a trick. Sometimes I'm asked, will I ever stop?
Nope.
I play all my games, they don't just sit here and rot. Well, maybe that statement's not entirely true. With this many games, some are bound to be doo-doo. I do have a problem, and it's funny to say. It takes me an hour to find something to play. Let's start the video and continue the quest. Today we have 5 games, you know the rest. But one last thing before we start the show. Can you guess what it is? It's the Gamer Wayne intro! So the first game up has been sitting on the shelf for a while, and that's because I went to review the game, but the sound in the game wasn't working. So I didn't add it to the counter of how many games I had, but I added it to the price counter. And that game is Multi-Racing Championship. MRC was developed by Genki and published by Ocean. It released for the N64 in 1997. Starting off the game, you can choose from 1 of 10 vehicles and choose from 3 tracks: Seaside, Mountain, and Downtown. Where I can give this game some credit is how you can customize the tracks. You can close roads and change weather patterns on certain areas of the track. The cars are customizable as well, and they all handle differently, which makes a huge difference. For instance, taking a race car on the mountain course, I was sliding all over the place. It was a completely different experience when I switched to an SUV. The graphics are average with a lot of fog in the game. The music is decent, upbeat techno music. The controls are okay, but the physics in the game are wacky. You can scream around corners without spinning out. MRC isn't a terrible racing game for the N64, but it could have had more tracks. I'd play Cruisin' World or Rush before this game. Multi-Racing Championship is game number 262 for the collection, and it cost me $10 shipped, bringing our total up to $12,474 for the N64 Complete in Box Quest. Up next is another game I had sitting on the shelf, but I didn't review it at the time because in that particular episode there was a lot of sports games and I didn't feel like boring you guys with any more sports games. So it's time to review that game and get it out of the way, and that game is Madden 99. Madden 99 was developed and published by EA Sports and released for the N64 in 1998. Madden 99 is the 4th Madden game out of 5 we have to cover. All of the Madden games feel the same control-wise, with improvements throughout the years. Since we've already covered newer Madden titles, I can see the improvements they made easier. One thing they improved on in later games is what happens after a play is complete. In Madden 99, the players just stand around like a bunch of zombies. What's going on here? Even for an older Madden game, Madden 99 is a decent football game. The graphics are decent, but the players could have used some more work. The controls are good as well. I was able to execute plays I wanted to do without much hassle. However, if I'm going to play a football game on the N64, I'd pick one of the Blitz games. And Madden 99 is game number 263 for the collection. And the next game we have up is Quake. Quake was developed by ID Software and published by Midway. It released for the N64 in 1998. Quake is a first-person shooter. Right out of the manual, Quake has two objectives: stay alive and make it out of the area you're in. As soon as you start the game, you jump right into the action. There are all kinds of enemies and mutations waiting to destroy you. Along the way, you'll find many weapons to pick up and use. You start off with a shotgun and an axe, but you don't have to make it very far in the game before you find better weapons. The controls are good, but the players move awkwardly fast. The graphics are okay, but the movements of the enemies, especially the dogs, is really choppy and not well done. The sound in the game is dark and matches the game perfectly. Overall, Quake is a fun game worth checking out if you enjoy first-person shooters. Quake is game number 264 for the collection, and it cost me $15 shipped, bringing our total up to $12,489 for the N64 library. Next up on the list is a sequel, and that game is Quake II. Quake II was developed by Raster Productions and published by Activision. It released for the N64 in 1999. Although this game was a sequel to Quake, this game was released by a different company. So the look and the controls of the game are completely different. Rather than using the stick to move like in Quake, Quake II uses the C buttons to move and the stick to aim your weapon like in Turok. The graphics are much better than the first Quake, and the characters move more smoothly. Another thing that's interesting about Quake II is the levels were redesigned for the N64. The first Quake directly copied the PC version. Despite all the differences, Quake II on the 64 kept all the good stuff. There are plenty of secrets and mutations to kill. If you're going to play a Quake game on the 64, I'd recommend Quake II over the first one. It looks better, plays better, and it's a better experience all around. Quake 2 is game number 265 for the library, and the cart cost me $15 in the States. I already had the box and manual, and that brings our total up to $12,504 for the N64 library. Next up, we have a couple manuals to complete games, and they cost me $15 shipped, bringing our total up to $12,519. And finally, we have a game I had for a while, but it was sealed, so I wasn't able to review the game. I finally got the loose cart, and that game is Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Ready to Rumble Round 2 was developed and published by Midway, swinging on the store shelves in 2000. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2 is a lot like the first game. Use the C buttons to punch and the A and B buttons to block. You have the same game modes as well. In arcade mode, you pick a boxer and battle your way to the top. And then there's the championship mode, where you train a boxer and work on becoming the best. To train your boxer, you'll take part in a bunch of mini games like jump rope, sway bag, and rumble blocks, to name a few. They are fun mini games, but get repetitive after a while. Ready to Rumble 2 also improved the graphics and controls over the first game. The characters look more detailed, and it's much easier to execute moves. They also introduced new characters in the game. Finally, they didn't abuse the word rumble like they did in the first game. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2 is game number 266 for the collection, and it cost me $32 sealed, and that brings our total up to $12,551 for the N64 Complete in Box library. Let's get these games on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'll be collecting the entire N64 library, complete in box, right here on the show. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for Quake II. Until next time, I'm Wayne, and thanks for watching.